Greetings again. Yes, it's Dadman Walking 55 coming to you again at 11:32 on the East Coast of the United States. What are we doing? I don't know. It's just we're going to yell and scream about some things. But I will say we're going to touch on a movie topic tonight for a bit with the great Hungry Boy. But I just it's an unleashed episode, so we will always have to go crazy somehow on something. So right now, I'm in the process of trying to see how long I can make Hungry wait in the back room until I let him in. But you know what? I don't think I can do that because I tell you, I wouldn't be here without this guy, the great co-host of co-host. Still not as great as my football buddy Bucky, but hey, he's a pretty darn swell guy himself. It's great, Hungry. Hey, Hungry.
Hello, my bosun brother. Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, and I do really. I said,
brother, hello. Sorry.
What was that?
That was you.
Where did that come from?
On my phone, because that's my chat monitor thing. Because it's because I'm at the remote location, so.
I hate the fact I sound like that.
Well, we all hate the way we sound. At least you're not south of Mason-Dixon line, Hungry.
But I did want to say that I was really surprised that you wanted to discuss this topic tonight, and I'm really impressed that you want to discuss it. And you're doing double duty on the sci-fi today, man. And this is when you're facing off against a big storm. So, very impressed. Very impressed.
Well, because I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow night. So, Thursday's doubtful, too. But the missus is planning on doing her shows both days. We'll see what happens. Work tomorrow, 2 locations. Got stuff to do. It's a slow week in the SEC, really. But there's one big game with Georgia and Alabama that is huge. But, hey, I don't know. I just sometimes you got to do what you got to do with things. So you just rearrange it. We'll be back again for football again. And actually, one of my other things is JT and I usually do some stuff on Saturday nights as we can to talk some football. So, but it's all good. But we're just watching the path now. It looks like it's growing and. They got a decent idea of where it's probably going to go, but you always got to make sure and watch. Nothing is ever in stone. Nothing is ever guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
And every storm is different. I tell you what, we've had some that are weak, but they dropped so much damn rain, like tropical storms, and they didn't move, so they flood everything. We've had some which flew so fast you barely knew it was there. We had some that took forever, overnight hours, and you hear all the wind and all that and then they tear stuff down and all that. So then you have the ones with tornadoes, and it's like, because I remember in 2004 when the kids were small, the radar was going off all night.
Oh,
tornado warnings. Now, see what they do down here in the country. It's not necessarily, at least with where we are, they'll call a tornado warning just because they see rotation on the radar.
Oh, okay.
Sure it's on the ground. Now I know in some states and stuff, the tornadoes are big, huge things, and they have to be dealt with and all that. So speaking of someone, B from O, he's from Alabama. Good to see you, B. I mean, I think in part where he is, they get lots of bad tornadoes and stuff. I know Tuscaloosa's had some, Birmingham. Bad tornadoes, but see in Florida really don't get any. Usually we get them in maybe the I-4 corridor and thunderstorms and stuff like that, but generally we don't. When we do get tornadoes are when we have the hurricanes and tropical systems. But and the last storm was like such a snoozer as it went. But the thing is, though, it dumped a lot of rain, did some damage on people where it did hit consistently, heavily. Last year was Indiana or some other I name, and man, that thing did some damage over in the area. This storm's forecast to hit, so it's it's like the people just got still aren't back because even though it's a year, it sometimes takes 3 to 5 years for everything to get rebuilt, brought back.
Oh yeah.
And even then, you're still not whole or it's still on progress. And hopefully, you don't have a contractor that ran off with all your money. And you're even luckier if they run off with your wife. I mean, if they don't run off with your wife, but hey.
Hey, Max.
Oh, my God. I snuck that one by hungry. You didn't get that one, did you? Of course, I wouldn't. I got the best wife in the world. I don't want her to go anywhere, you know? Hey, Max. Did you hear I said, and if you're lucky, they won't run off with your money. And if you're luckier, they will run off with your wife.
I don't have to worry about that, but I appreciate the joke.
All right. On that, we're back to the magical 670 subscribers. Good to have y'all here. Max and B from O so far. All right. So I know one of our other mutual friends has an early day tomorrow, so they won't be here. Another one that's having to go to bed early now, so it's like, yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, Daisy and JT can't be here because they are exhausted themselves in a good and appropriate way with you regarding a very nice, a very, very lovely Star Trek film.
Oh, thanks, Max. That's great encouragement.
Max, no, not that number. No.
But,
please,
you know, I don't know. I think I told JT about it. I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up, shows up, and ready to go again. But yeah, I'm really blessed. No, 1 second. Hold on. Enterprise. Oh, I remember Enterprise. Next town over had one that toward the high school and elementary school, 7 people lost their life. Yeah, because a lot of times those are the official shelters. Those high schools and stuff, they're built to wind codes and stuff. But I'm telling you, when it comes to a tornado, those are what we call cyclones, tornadoes over here. Those things are so, even if AF1, EF2, they can destroy a lot of stuff. And that's the one thing my dad feared with her. He didn't fear the high winds or the water from the hurricanes. No, he had a healthy respect for tornadoes because they're so random. They're damaged way too quickly. So,
and because you mentioned shelters, just so people know, the 1953 version of War of the Worlds, one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, shelters are very important when we get to the second half of the movie.
Oh,
very important.
All I know is I love as a kid, I love those friggin' like manta ray green tip things floating around very slowly, and the cheesy shooting that it did. But hey, you know,
it wasn't not cheesy, not for 1953.
Well, no, I know not for 1953, but still, it's kind of when you sit back and watch it now, I kind of really appreciate it even more.
But you must appreciate this. I mean, look, we talk about audio a lot, you and I. The sound effects of the death ray, and that's what it was called, the heat ray or the death ray. That was amazing in the 1953 version. And then, you know, they had the little they had the pulse weapons, the green pulse weapons that came off the tips of the manta ray tripod machines,
right? And
they would make a separate sound entirely, and that was just pure artistry. And taking into account, all right, you may not be able to do what you want visually, but you're going to back that up with a sound. I mean, the audio quality and the entire soundscape of the 53 movie is magnificent. But that is something that we're going to talk about later too. With the radio play, there was no music. There was no music.
All right.
Because it was, you know what I mean by a found footage film, right? So like Blair Witch bullshit. But with the radio play, we'll talk about that later. The thing is, it was trying very much to be cinema verite, which means truth in film.
Oh, I know. Bart Simpson said it's cinema verite.
Yeah, that was a good joke.
The Simpsons are educational, you know?
Absolutely. So when we talk about that later, I mean, look, Orson didn't mean to set the entire Northern American states off He did, but it wasn't intentional. Do you know he had to apologize for that on public radio?
Oh, I do not. I would not be surprised because it just was insane. Before we get into that, I do want to say real quickly, there she is. Yes, Jess is
Hello,
back.
Jess.
Jess, I have missed you so badly. Good to see you tonight. Have you seen the Oreo and the Coca-Cola stuff? I just got what you had sent to me, the exploding zombie poop, the monster burgers. I'll have to
Oh, I'm
use it.
disturbed.
I will have to save this for Friday night then, Hungry. Okay?
Okay.
So send away, Jess. I have missed it. But yeah, I have not seen the Oreo and the Coca-Cola stuff.
I have no idea what this is about. I have no idea.
It's food. It's food stuff, from Walmart. I think I've seen like a Coca-Cola Oreo or something recently, but yeah. Hey, good to see you though, Jess. So keep sending. And Peter Venkman fan site read about the panic and stuff. Oh, cool. Good to see you, Peter Venkman fan site. Wade's here. Hey, Wade, Coke, Oreo, good. Exactly. Okay, thank you. Now that I've completely embarrassed you and stuff, but Jess, really, it's great to see you these days.
Yeah, good to see you, Jess.
Absolutely. I got all my food stuff coming in now. Hey, great. And like Peter Venkman says, why can't Marv's just leave us alone?
Well, we did talk about Mars attacks, but yeah, we have a fascination with a potential invasion from Mars, and we have to admit, I mean, we have to admit, we've always assumed there was life there, and this is going back to the first telescopes checking the planet out, and that's why the book was very intense. Okay,
well, see, I want Max Redstone's version with Marvin the Martian.
Oh yeah, I love Marvin the Martian, Max. I really do.
Let's say hello to
hey,
Rod. Rod, good to see you. So before we get, we're going to get into that in just half a second. But listen, I just want to say, I was about to say with JT and Daisy, yes, go back and watch the replay if you like Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. We had a wonderful 2-hour discussion. We made it 2 hours, and I'll tell you what, they are both special. They are great. My stream had to start late, and Daisy covered for me, and I'm so blessed to have all the people around the channel that do this and help me. I'm blessed for all you viewers out here. I'm blessed for like Hungry, Jess out there, Daisy and JT earlier, Bucky, just JT, just Dave. See, there's just so many people that I wouldn't be here without you guys. And, they do see my warts sometimes, but hey, they still are here, and I'm going because of these guys, and I can't thank them enough. But most of all, the Mrs. Dadman Walking 55 is the rock star of all rock stars and has to live with me 24/7. And actually, I only have another month in my mom's house.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I know it's kind of a sad day because it's been hard, it's been different, but we almost have everything moved out. I got to take some more stuff tomorrow. But it's like, at that point, I will not ever be able to live in this house again unless it doesn't get rented out or sold eventually. But
I understand.
it's like it's been a hard. Well, Mom had the surgery in February. I didn't really start living here until April, really, when we finally realized we can't keep the house empty. And it's been about 6 months now. Jeez, so it goes crazy. So. But anyway, sorry, I digress. But hell, Rod Thunderheart, sorry, I had a moment right there.
And Rod, by the way, is looking like he could kick the ass of the Rock, otherwise known as Dwayne. I like that photo, Rod.
But could he beat the Martians? Yeah, exactly. And hello again, Wade. Good to see you. And hey, Shooter's back. Wow, this is close to Shooter tonight. So Marvin the Martian at Movie World. It looked like he had boobs. Oh gosh. Well, you get rest and have, hopefully a good. It's tough today. I'm living in Mom's house. Yeah, I got it. But yeah, it's being away from the missus, having to do these streams remotely has presented a lot of logistical challenges and stuff. Like Hungry thinking the damn laundry machine's attacking me. So,
yeah.
Oreo flavored Coca-Cola. Wow. Yeah, I think I saw that. That's crazy. But just think, and no cassowaries.
They're more dangerous than the Martians, Max. They really are.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about dangerous Martians. We got Marvin the Martian, who's funny. We got
Mm.
Martians. Uh, so War of the Worlds, 1953, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. So,
Okay.
but I don't remember ever seeing what the Martians actually looked like in that movie.
Oh, I do very clearly. Very clearly.
But it was always seeing that first scene when the tripod, like Dilopithecus is coming out of the ground and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just seeing them for the first time was so scary.
No. It didn't come out. It did not come out of the ground. It came out of the artificial meteorite, which contained War Machine.
Okay. But the thing is, it's like that was something. Who knew what we were going to see then? I mean, we for all the time, it's like, what do Martians look like? You know, it's really cool to see that for the first time.
Well, it is, and the other thing to remember, and I'm just going to be a persnickety little biatch here for a moment. I did enjoy the way the Martians looked in the 53 version, but the problem is, yeah, Max has got it right. The real Martians in the novel by H.G. Wells, okay, the real Martians look like awful demonic octopuses with a slavering mouth, and they have tentacles, and they sort of slurge over the ground, okay, and they move very slowly because they're used to very different gravity, and H.G. Wells took that into account, which makes them even creepier, but he didn't over explain it. So the Martians in the 1953 version are actually they have 2 arms and 2 legs like we do.
Right.
And they have, they're kind of a little bit tribute, homage to the original version is their fingers were not really fingers. They were tentacles on the end of their hands. Yes, exactly, Shooter. They quiver like wet leather. That's a direct line from the novel. And they had little suckers, like octopus suckers, which actually look like pepperoni at the end of the fingers. And that's when you first see them. You see the hand come on to the female protagonist's shoulder and just rest on her shoulder. And she slowly turns around and she sees them, and she is horrified.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet. No, we haven't, because we actually got a relative that's going to rent it. So, but yeah, there's always things. Plus, that's another headache. Jeez. And so, Martian Chronicles. Putin's Cat, welcome. Good to see you.
Martian Chronicles are not bad.
I love that show. I had to go back and watch it. The guy with the umbrella gun. Yeah. That went crazy. It was like, damn, that's a powerful umbrella. So
I agree, but also the other thing I have a slight complaint about the 1953 Martian.
Peter Venkman, was that how they made them in the TV series? I don't
know. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
No.
Oh, and Emily is here for you.
Hey, Emily.
Was about to go nighty-night.
Well, I mean, stay with us for a little bit, Emily, and fall asleep while we talk. That's what the missus says to everybody else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fall asleep. But see, the thing is with the 53 Martians is that although people remember them having a face, and Max will know what I'm talking about, they actually didn't. They had one big eye. And it was an eye with 3 irises, okay? Now, here's the problem. It was a good idea on paper, but what it visually looks like are 2 little sad eyes and a little sad mouth in the middle of the chest. So the disturbing thing is that it looked like the brain of the creature was in a chest and it had no head. That was beautifully disturbing. But, the fact that it had this big old eye in the middle of its chest, well, actually the top of the chest, and it had 3 parts to it. And that was not scary. It just looked sad. You just wanted to pat it on the head and say, oh, I'm so sorry you had to invade us. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't frightening. What was frightening is when they shone the light in its eyes, and the thing screams and runs away. And then you feel sorry for it again. And you shouldn't feel sorry for people who are blowing up your town and incinerating your neighbors and invading your entire species. You shouldn't feel sorry for them,
Right.
but yet we did.
I guess B&Bs are hated because North Queensland, it makes it impossible for anyone looking for long-term rental.
Good point. Good point, Shoots. Good point.
Yeah, a lot of people have a lot of the Airbnbs, or they stay at them and stuff. But Pian's Cat said the irises are red, green, and blue.
Yeah. And there's a later part in the movie where they acquire so you have the irises and the actual Martians, which we only see twice in the film. Okay, only twice. But you also have the electronic eye, which it snakes down on a mechanical device, but there's a certain horrific element to it, and that's the scene in the old barn house. That's also the scene where we see the physical Martian. Okay, and it makes this pulsing noise. This horrible pulsing noise, but it looks like it's purely mechanical. However, our lead character, our main protagonist, the scientist in the film, takes a hatchet to it. But there are not pneumatic fluids inside the umbilicus of that mechanical eye. It's blood. It's actual blood. That means it was living. And they save it, and then they bring it back to the other scientists later, and they learn how the Martians see. And it is actually very different to the way we see things. And it's very disturbing to the female protagonist.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. I have got to go back and watch that movie again because
So what's it been? 20 years for you, maybe more?
Probably 40 years. It's been forever.
Wow! Oh! You saw it as a kid. Okay.
Yeah. The last one that I saw was the Tom Cruise thing, which I thought was kind of cool. Was not too bad, except I wanted. God, all of them were annoying. Like terminate all of them. Definitely Timothy Robbins, and then Cruise, and then of course Dakota Fanning was like. It was. It was a movie. I will say I got a date and a popcorn out of it, so I was happy. But, hey, those are my minimum requirements. The movie could suck, but as long as I'm out with the missus having fun, having some popcorn, I'm happy.
Look, I get it, but I will say this. It was one of the first movies that Tom Cruise ever did where he was willing to be a total dick for a lot of the movie. And he was. At the beginning, the guy was bloody obnoxious. And I thought, man, after seeing him as a Navy lawyer going up against Jack Nicholson, I was kind of impressed that he was willing to take that risk with his script. And yeah, I did enjoy it, but he became a real dad by the end of the movie, and that shows the character progression. And the other thing that I really liked was that in that film, this did not happen in the 1953 version. Okay. It is in the novel that the Martian war machines, the tripods, okay, they make this horrible noise, this bellowing roar. And in the 2005 film, they had that. And that impressed me. But again, here's my problem with both movies. The Martians did not look the way they did in the book. The Martians in the 2005 version, completely inaccurate. The Martians in the 1953 version, completely inaccurate. Yes, Shooter. That comes from, by the way, Dadman, there was a musical version with Richard Burton doing the narration. And that was on vinyl. Yes. So no, that's not the way it was. That's not the way it was saying. That was not the way it was saying. It was much more reverberant. I don't have a voice today. I apologize. That's closer.
Sounds foghorn, but yeah. Okay, cool. That is neat. Now going back to the reaction thing that I think started it all, the radio show, or was it
Yes.
was it a book before the radio show, or did they?
I'm sorry. I can't hear you properly. Can you repeat that?
Was it a book before the radio show?
Oh, dude. I mean, the book was in the 1800s.
Okay, but yeah, but the whole. What about the situation with the whole radio stuff? Why did they go live? Why did they want to do it live like that? Why didn't they do some kind of other warnings and stuff to tell people?
No, they did do a warning.
Okay, but yet he still had to Yet he still had to apologize. Wow. Okay.
No, they did a warning, but you have to understand. This was around 1928. There was no television. Radio was television back then, okay? And sometimes, look, men came home from work, they had to shower, women were doing cooking and taking care of the kids, and sometimes you tune in when you can tune in. I mean, look, when we were kids and we were young adults, we'd sometimes tune into a show 10 minutes after it started, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know, if you missed the first 10 minutes of the 1928 radio show, you're going to miss the warning. And Orson Welles was a real stickler for getting the art of the work correct. And, well, according to my knowledge, Peter Venkman fan, no, there was one warning at the beginning, and then there was a statement regarding the fiction of it at the very end. But the thing is, if you come in, let's say, 15 minutes into it, and you start getting freaked out, and you start taking your shotgun, which did happen, and you go outside and you're getting prepared for an invasion, you're not going to stick around for the end of the damn show, are you? You're already freaked out. You're already messing up.
Yeah. Well, hey, it brings us to great Chuck Norris, Invasion USA.
Right. And so, yes, a lot of people got freaked out, and part of that was because, I mean, Orson Welles was a very naturalistic actor, and in the original story, it's not like in the radio play, it's not a reporter reporting things. So this is one of the first times you had, before you had cinema verite, you could say this was radio verite, okay? And they were reporting it like it was really bloody well happening. And there was a remake around 1965. There was actually another radio play version of War of the Worlds that was also, shall we say, radio verite. And that didn't freak out as many people because, a lot of people were sort of cottoning on to things by then. But, there were a lot of complaints. Good night, B. Good night. But, I mean, there were people in 1928 that were packing their kids and their wife up into cars, getting ready to go to higher ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was actually a very serious scare, and that's why Orson got into trouble.
Wait a second. Okay. I swear I keep getting confused. So H.G. Wells wrote War of the Worlds.
And Orson Welles did the radio play.
Is that the same Orson Welles that did commercials in the 70s and 80s?
Yes. Parmesan will sell no wine before it's time. That Orson Welles. Yes.
And the same one that did the radio show?
Yes. Dude, he's a lot older than you think. And he used to be lean. So he was incredibly chubby, right, when he did the Parmesan ads. But he was lean, mean, and a sexy machine in 1928.
Yep.
And this is also the guy that did Citizen Kane.
2024,
Yeah.
Hey, Hungry, go ahead and vamp a little bit for just a second.
Oh, sorry. I apologize, Putin. I apologize. I can't. I've had very little sleep. So, 38.
It happens. But hey.
Oh, Touch of Evil, buddy. One of my favorite movies.
Here. Yes.
Oh, and by the way, Touch of Evil has Charlton Heston pretending to be a Latino.
Oh, my gosh.
No, I'm not kidding. It's a great movie. But
describe for people a little bit more the the way the other alien looks. The creatures again, they're octopus tentacles. What really caused? I guess with the radio show, like I said before, that people come in thinking it was a real broadcast and of news of
Well, in the
something going
radio
on.
show, and I had the LP, the vinyl LP. In the radio show, they did describe the Martians accurately, but you have to understand, special effects did not really allow for anything octopoid, anything with tentacles, to really look good around 1953. And after 1953, I don't know why nobody wanted to do the Martians accurately. I don't know. Personally, I think if Spielberg was going to be the executive producer of the 2005 version, I think he should have gone whole hog and done the accurate version of the Martians. But maybe he thought, because he is very prone to schmaltz, and Max knows what I mean by schmaltz. My nickname for him is Schmaltzberg, Steven Schmaltzberg. He tends to veer away from the really scary stuff. But here's something he added to the 2005 version, okay, which was not in the 53 version. The Martians were using us as a food source. And that's in the book. And you're muted, so I'll keep talking. So, yeah, it was established that the Martians were actually using us like cattle. And that is very, very creepy. And also there's what is referred to in the novel as the red grass. And that is a substance that is grown by the Martians in order to cultivate the planet. And so we were partially being used for the red grass and partially being used for sustenance by the Martians.
Soylent Green.
Yeah, fair enough. Good point. Yeah. I was just telling you folks while you were gone that in the the redweed, the Martians were actually using us as a food source.
Right, and they did catch that in the Tom Cruise version.
Yeah, they do, and it's pretty horrifying. Right, buddy. Right. How to Serve Man. Right, buddy. It's a cookbook.
It's a cookbook. Absolutely. Hey, Brogu, I thought you went to bed earlier, but hey, welcome in. We're talking about War of the Worlds specifically. So when Orson Welles had to apologize for the radio broadcast.
No, Orson had to apologize.
Orson, but yeah, he had to apologize for that. Was that I guess even though they had done a disclaimer up front. When did people finally realize it was a joke, that it was a story, that it was a radio drama, not a? Oh,
it was days later. It was days later. Now, some people caught on.
We didn't have TV though. Yeah, you're right. This new
no, there was no, not really. No. TV's really got into American households around the late 40s and the 1950s. So in 1938, most people were using radios, and radio shows had to work on a very tight schedule. All right, very tight schedule. So you only had so much time to do everything, and yet get the art into it. So yeah, you'd have your opening announcement, you would have the statement of your sponsors, and then you would have the disclaimer. This is our depiction of the great work, War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, and then you would just go into it. And then you would have a little break every so often, a little break. But what if you miss the break? What if you don't hear the commercial? And at the end of it...
That's why Stunning and I have the ultimate cure for that. The video game potty chair where you can sit there all day and not have to do anything or move.
Oh, that's gross.
I know. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. So, yeah, I mean, it was a very big kerfuffle. It was a very big kerfuffle. But it meant that this show, it's on YouTube, man. It's on archive.org. You can find it almost anywhere. And it is really an amazing piece of art. And sometimes listening to something, even if it is being significantly changed with the radio play, because the radio play clearly is not taking place in the 1800s. It's taking place in current day for the time. It was still scary, and it was very true in spirit to the story, and it was messed up. I mean, I still find it. You know how much I love my horror stuff, right? I still find the Orson Welles version of War of the Worlds one of the scariest things I've ever listened to.
Wow.
And the way they describe the death ray, the Martian death ray, is absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. Now, the death ray in the 53 film is also horrific. And then the death ray in the 2005 film is absolutely horrific. We're not going to talk about any of the current versions which recently came out. There are 2 more versions of War of the Worlds, and they are garbage. They're absolute garbage.
What
and
else is new? What's new about that horror? Hollywood strikes again.
No, not Hollywood. A British-French co-production, and then a BBC production. No Hollywood involvement.
I'm just laughing. The French are there to anyway.
No, the French were there to add perverted, deviant crap into it. That's why they were there, and they did. I mean, they added some really nasty crap into the story, which is not in the story, not in the book, not in the 53 version. No. The French, look, the French got to be naughty just for the sake of being naughty.
Yep.
That's their.
Hello, Playing Down Under.
Hey, Playing Down Under. G'day.
Did you bring your Fosters for beer?
Don't.
For beer.
Don't do it.
Okay, too late. Sorry. Okay. Hey, Playing Down Under. Welcome.
But I would like someday to see a cinematic version or a television version where they accurately portray the Martians. I would. Oh yeah, tripods, Shooter. Yeah, tripods. It was tripods, plural. That was a good show.
Yeah.
And that's not the BBC one I'm talking about, Shooter. I'm talking about the recent one that began in production around 2019. And the French one was about the same time. Two separate productions. Both garbage. Don't bother with them. I mean, they actually turned no, I don't even want to talk about them. Let's go back to 53 with the radio play.
Okay. Yeah. Because like we said, the only way you really have mass communication that flowed fast was, let's see, your radio. You had newspapers, you had telegraphs, but even then, those were subject to holds and delays. But I just what I think back is how a society could go so crazy over something like that is outside of a world. You'd think that if somebody said there's Martians here, you'd just like laugh and walk away, But,
well, I understand your point, but you have to understand also what a fantastic actor that Orson Welles was, but also the people he had around him. Okay, yeah. So they could absolutely fake being real life radio journalists, and they were too realistic. They were too talented for their own good.
By the way, did you know that there was an official cause of death of the aliens, the Martians? Not Slim Whitman.
And it's not Foster's either. It was bacteria and viruses. It was single cell animal.
Said gave them a Foster's beer. Okay.
I'm never going to give in to you on a Foster's joke. I'm not going to do it. Foster's is garbage. Foster's is weasel piss. I know you like making the Foster's joke. I am never going to kowtow to you with Foster's. You can make all the jokes you like. I'm going to piss in the Wheaties of any Foster's joke.
Wow. There you go, folks. He's promised. Will you deliver? That's what she said. All right.
The cans are gorgeous.
Did I say hi to Sashi earlier?
Hello, Sashi. The Foster's cans are gorgeous. I mean, great. You know, it's like you remember when a lot of us were kids and you would have these gorgeous little golden medallions at Christmas, these golden chocolate coins, and the chocolate was crap, but the gold foil was great. That's Foster's.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, that's too funny. Oh my gosh! So
thank you, playing down under. Thank you.
Where would you want to go with this then? Because I'm, I like the 53. The radio version was just amazing. How you sit here and wonder how people could fall for that or believe.
I think you need to listen to it. It's on YouTube, dude.
Okay. I think somebody said it's free, so I'll have to do that sometime. But it's just the concept, the thought of and granted, use a very important difference. Back then they didn't have the modes of communication that we. Well,
you also need to remember that this was a time period where if there was a war going on,
Thanks, hungry.
What?
Thanks, hungry. Sashi said, "Now I'm wondering how you know what weasel piss tastes like."
Well, I never dated a furry. But
Jess says all beer tastes like crap to her.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Absolutely.
But you need to remember that most people between 1919 and 1942 were getting most of their current information, immediate information from the radio. So there was a trust there. There was a trust. And a lot of people were getting their information in the early days of radio about World War I with the radio. So, yeah, Putin's cat is correct. World War II hadn't started, but it was revving up in 1938 for non-American countries, Putin's. Non-American countries. And it formally started, World War II formally started for the rest of us in 1939.
Yep. Absolutely. Not when the U.S. declared war, but yeah, exactly. September 1st, 1939. Exactly. We've been through 43 minutes. We still got 16 people watching us. Hungry. How about that?
Oh, good.
That is just amazing, guys.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm really impressed with that because this is a niche topic. It really is. And I appreciate everyone for staying here. I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. Yeah, absolutely. It's really nice and reassuring when you see people, especially people that come back,
But the other thing that's really great about the 53 version is that those giant, as you put it very accurately, because you said they look like manta rays, right?
Right, exactly.
That was a design influence. According to the conceptual artists, they thought mantas were very scary, and they thought that would scare people, and they couldn't do, because of the special effects limitations of the time, they couldn't do walking tripods, which are in the book and were in the 2005 version, and also the earlier 1980s version that Shooter mentioned. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. They had to be on wires. They had to be on wires. And they did actually, you almost never saw them, but they did have the three legs. But that was only during the big battle scenes when there was a lot of smoke. And then they showed that they were beams of energy supporting the manta ray bodies. So they were tripods, but they almost always looked like they were slow.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to share a screen or something. I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that.
Dag nabbit. That's okay. I don't mind.
But I'm like playing down under. I'd like to come in and make the announcement. I need to liberate my bladder, and I thought you all should know. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, it's just interesting. We're 45 minutes in, and we've got Hungry Boy with us, and 15 of y'all out there watching. So
well, I mean,
appreciate the support. So
honestly,
about this movie, because I know we've been talking about the aliens. I know we've been talking about the beginnings, so that but advances through and into the end of the movie, so we don't miss out on anything. Was the pacing good? Like I said, I got to go back and watch it again. To me, what it created, it was scary for the time. You know?
Yeah, it was. It honestly was, and I feel very. I know this is a bad word today, but 10 years ago, the word privileged was not a bad word. I was very privileged that I had parents that wanted to recognize I love science fiction and said, "Look,
Right.
you're 6 years old. You got to see this movie. It's on tonight on television. You got to watch it." And yeah. Yep. Shooter. Yes. Oh my God. Love it. I don't know if Dadman would love it that much, but Dadman does love music.
Mhm.
It is a musical version of the War of the Worlds, but just promise me within 2 years, I'm not going to rush you. Within 2 years, you will listen to the radio play.
I will try to. Yeah.
No promises, he says.
No, I know I can't these days, but hey. Well, Hungry, we're going to go about another 10 or 15 minutes more. I mean, like
Okay.
all of our other squirrel streams, we end up starting, we'll have to finish it. Nothing will be like the squirrel stream when we did it took us 3 episodes to finish this stupid thing. That was hilarious.
Well, you were asking about kind of why everything was so scary, and we have to give credit to H.G. Wells for being, at least a century, if not more, before his time. And he could figure out what was completely non-human, what was completely merciless, what was an intelligence, but not by our definition of intelligence. And that was really clear in the book, but that was also clear in the radio play. And I think that was also very clear in the 53 version.
Right.
Now, my one real complaint with the 2005 version is that the Martians just look like a sort of a cheap ass ripoff, combining a little bit of the aliens from Independence Day and a little bit of the aliens from Signs by Shamalama Bing Bong.
Right. See, that's the thing is, I just didn't know what to think of this movie when I was done with it. And you put these high price actors in it, they can't necessarily save a script because all I remember from watching the 2000s version was that the little kid was a brat and wouldn't shut up, and then
you read my mind. You're psychic. You read my mind. I mean, honestly, the screaming braticism of that. I know that's something that Spielberg, Schmaltzberg is really into, but that doesn't mean that we are into it. And
exactly.
The squalling of the child was way too much, overdone.
Oh man, I tell you what, Miss and I go to a movie, we're cheering for the aliens or the animals to come eat the people. I mean, Jurassic Park, whatever you named it, there's an animal that could eat it. But the thing is the more the modern movies, they make the characters so irrelevant, so annoying, And at least I think with 53, they kept everybody balanced and some decorum, and still, you gotta. There's so much to be said with these 2 movies. I know we're not gonna hit it all tonight, so. But,
no. But that's all right, and we're gonna have to wrap up in a little.
It was Dakota Fanning, yes, exactly.
I'm never going to blame a child actor, and she was still quite young when she did the role, and the kid's going to get the script that the kid gets, and going to get the direction from the director that is given, And I don't blame to go to Fanning at all. I actually found the older brother to be more annoying.
Well, that's the thing is the actors, actresses play a role, and subject to the director's direction of what they want, how they want it, and
Brogues agrees. The teenage son. Yeah. Oh my God, he annoyed the hell out of me, Brogues. Ugh.
Yep. And the shooter says modern writers were write characters they are annoying and shrill.
Well, shrill is a very accurate adjective, Shooter. And yeah, we see a lot of shrill characters these days. And that's because I think that a lot of the writers themselves are shrill, and they just look, it's the narcissism of the past 10 years in screenwriting. And everybody thinks because they grew up with Buffy, that they can write Joss Whedon dialogue. Well, no, you can't. And there's a reason for that. Because Joss Whedon is of a different generation, and he had to grow up with different challenges. So Whedon can write Whedon, but mimicking Whedon, I mean, no. Hello, Jack Schaefer. Hello. Go away, Jack Schaefer.
Oh yeah, exactly. All right.
I saw your DM. Okay. Yeah. Radio.
Yeah. Okay. Well, folks, we're going to kick this movie around. I know we got 15 people here. Wow, still, but I all of a sudden gotten tired. Tomorrow, I got to get up, get in the morning in about 6 hours. So I think I need to sleep tonight. It kind of hits me. I'll go as quickly as long as I want to when I'm awake, but some nights it's like, and you hit that wall. That's the problem of being a night owl trapped in an 8 to 5 normal job. You want to step late, you want to do things and all that, but and it will catch up with you at some point. Believe me, I know it will.
Yeah, I don't want you to end up in my state of affairs. You know what I mean?
I know. You're always repeating that. I mean, it's like we got 15 great people here this late at night. Thank y'all for being here.
Let's round it off to an hour, just an hour.
Yeah, 8 minutes. So we're going to be getting off the topic for a little bit, but no, I will not be thinking of Hungry Boy sleeping, okay?
You don't want to think of that. No. You do not want that image in your head. No.
Exactly. So we'll go the 7 minutes that are left, but because we're big with big round numbers. But I like the concept of War of the Worlds. I'd like to know more about what happened in the 30s with the radio show, all that happened. I'd like to, the original. I need to watch it again. It's been so long since I've watched the original. Before. Well,
the other thing that's really important, Dadman, is when you listen to the original and the radio play, okay, and I do believe Morgan Freeman did the voiceover in the 2005 version, there's something that they say very early on, immediately at the start of the story, which is very chilling and very frightening, and that is the cold intelligences that have been observing us. And
I thought you were going to say, I'm from the government. I'm here to help.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But the direct implication is that this is a much older civilization than ours by tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not possibly a million years. And how do you really combat that? How do you really combat that? And the fact of the matter is, if it hadn't been for these little single cell animals that got into the bodies of the Martians.
Plankton.
Yeah, plankton.
SpongeBob strikes again.
No SpongeBob. Oh God. I like the joke. I do like the joke. But you know how much I hate that show. But there is a real scientific basis to it, where if in a million years, we probably would not have the immunity system that our ancestors from 500,000 years ago would have, and we might be falling prey to these same single-celled animals, the virus or bacteria or anything else. And so that was just a brilliant aspect of it. But the notion that there are these things with tentacles and slavering mouths that are after our very blood for their own sustenance, and can look at us like a little gourmet treat. Okay, that is bloody terrifying.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, I think we're gonna go. Oh gosh, what's happening?
You're not going to make it for the last 4 minutes, are you?
My StreamYard's lagging. It's like all over the place. So hey, but Sashi said they were looking for that Krabby Patty formula. Keep it.
I like Krabby Patties.
Now that might have been Martian Chronicles. You know, the thought that they may have died with chickenpox. So.
Well, it's a similar thing.
Hey, I love playing down unders. I thought they also because they didn't want to Tom Cruise.
That is a good one, playing down under. Look, I'll be honest. I only like 4 Tom Cruise movies. Can't stand him and everything else.
The Firm, the Legal. Sorry, I should try to guess your favorite movies.
I look. I don't even want to say because he's a bit weird.
Yep.
He's a bit weird.
I got you. Understand. You know, I'm hoping we can keep traveling the country, seeing more sites and stuff, places that we haven't seen.
I can't tell you the one movie I couldn't stand him in, The Mummy. The Mummy from 2017.
Wait, you didn't like The Mummy? Okay. Well.
No, I like the 1990s Mummy. I don't like the 2017 Mummy. Mainly for Tom. Because he rewrote the damn film. The film was supposed to be entirely different. But this is another discussion for another time, and you're getting tired.
Yeah, we'll do that. And folks, thank y'all for coming in tonight. Double bonus. So make sure you go back, watch what we did earlier with Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. Please do that. Thank you for so many people being here on late night. And like with Hungry's availability, as Hungry is able to, we'll probably do more of these random ones with me and him and some late night things, hopefully with getting well rested up for it. But hey, on that note, you guys, right there, Comic Relief Crusader, we crazy boys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and A Few Good, I will say this, I did love him in A Few Good Men. I did.
Yep. All right. Well, with that note, God, we now we got to do it, Hungry, because we're only at a minute 40, a minute 35 till it. So hey, let's see. They're trying to resurrect mommy movies. The one with the lady from Kingsman.
I only remember one lady from the Kingsman, and that was the one that offered up her bouquet at the end of the movie.
Exactly. And let's see. Comic Relief Crusader said, and I watched the Gorgonzola.
Oh, the Gorgon. Oh, good. You watched the Gorgon. Excellent. Well done, son. Well done.
Yay. Absolutely. So.
And yeah, Tropic Thunder, I have to admit, Les Grossman, fantastic character. You remember in the credits when he's doing the dance, he's doing the Les Grossman dance. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I would replay that portion of the DVD over and over and over again. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you hiccuping now?
A little bit.
Oh, a little bit. Gosh. Oh, man, now you sound like skipping. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and Sophia Botella, I adore her. I mean, Tom Cruise has had an advantage where he has had a lot of good cast members around him in various films. A lot of good cast members.
Yep. Well, folks, on that note, we are going to say goodnight. We made the hour. Yay, hungry. We fought through it. We got it. It's ending on a great day after a lot of uncertainty earlier today. But uncertainty, please remember people in the path of the storm. Are your thoughts and prayers, because it could get interesting in a lot of places. We had a lot of rain already and things. So, all right, hungry. Thanks again, and we will catch y'all all another night. Check me on Twitter at Dadman155 for the latest updates. Okay, all right, bye all.
Nadio.
And now it's there. We go. All right.